There's a truth about life that goes against our basic human instincts. It is a paradox that confuses almost everyone at some point. And once you see it clearly, it is hard to ignore. The idea is simple. What feels difficult today often makes life easier later. And what feels easy today often makes life harder later. We are naturally drawn to the path of least resistance. If there's a shortcut, we want it. If there's a quick hack, we click on it. And honestly, this makes sense. Our brains are designed to save energy. But this natural tendency can work against us in the modern world. Today, I want to talk about why we often misunderstand the idea of difficulty, how our daily search for comfort can slowly create frustration in our lives, and how a small shift in the way we see the word hard can completely change the direction of the next 5 years of your life. No toxic hustle culture. No one is yelling at you to wake up at 4 a.m. Just a calm, honest look at how habits really work. Let's start by looking at a big lie we tell ourselves every day. We walk into a gym for the first time, try a new workout, and think, wow, this is too hard. We sit down to learn new software, try to edit a video, or write a line of code. After 20 minutes of staring at the screen, we say, I'm not cut out for this. It's too difficult. But in reality, most things in life are not truly easy or hard. They are simply familiar or unfamiliar. Think about a pair of chopsticks. If you grew up in a culture that uses chopsticks, you barely look at your hands when you eat. You can hold a conversation, watch TV, and pick up a single grain of rice without thinking. It feels effortless and requires almost no mental energy. But if you hold chopsticks for the first time as an adult, it feels like solving a puzzle. Your fingers cramp, the food slips. It becomes frustrating very quickly. Did the tool change? Of course not. Chopsticks are just two small pieces of wood. The difference is not the difficulty of the tool. It is simply the habit of the body. Think about when you first learned to drive a car. Remember that feeling? Every movement required your full attention. You had to think about the rear view mirror, the side mirrors, the pressure of your foot on the brake, the turn signal, and the cars around you. Your shoulders were probably tense. And after 30 minutes of driving, you felt mentally exhausted. It felt complicated. But what happens a year later? You drive home from work while listening to a podcast or sipping coffee. When you arrive, you barely remember the trip. Something that once required intense focus has become second nature. The real problem is that many people confuse initial discomfort with real difficulty. Because something feels awkward on the first day, or even the 5th day, they assume it simply isn't for them. So they quit, not realizing that if they had just stayed with the unfamiliar long enough, it would eventually have become as natural as driving a car. This brings us to a fascinating and slightly uncomfortable truth about the human body and mind. We are powerful adaptation machines. In many ways, your life is shaped by what you repeatedly train yourself to get used to. Imagine practicing comfort every day. You wake up and immediately reach for your phone to get a quick hit of dopamine. You avoid tasks that require deep focus. When a conversation becomes awkward, you walk away. When you feel a small hunger pang, you order takeout instead of cooking. If you repeat this long enough, comfort becomes your normal state. You train your brain and body to expect a life with almost no friction, and this is where the danger appears. Over time, effort itself begins to feel unbearable. When you constantly avoid friction, even small tasks like washing the dishes, reading 10 pages of book, or having a mildly difficult conversation start to feel overwhelming. You have not just made life easier, you have made yourself more fragile. But now, imagine the opposite. What happens if you regularly choose effort? What if you sit down to study when you would rather watch Netflix? What if you push yourself to build a skill, create a project, or solve a difficult problem? At first, it feels exhausting. Your brain looks for every possible escape. But slowly, the adaptation process begins. Your body and mind start to adjust to the rhythm of effort. Your focus grows stronger. Your tolerance for frustration increases. Eventually, something interesting happens. Discipline no longer feels like punishment. It begins to feel normal. Working for a few hours no longer feels like lifting heavy weights. It simply becomes part of your day. This is why habits quietly shape our destiny. Two people can start from the same place, similar talent, background, and opportunities. 5 years later, their lives may look completely different, and the reason is rarely intelligence. More often, it is simply what they repeatedly train themselves to adapt to. Now let's look at how this idea appears in the real world. Why is choosing the hard path often the most practical life strategy? There is a simple rule of supply and demand when it comes to effort. When something is easy, almost everyone is willing to do it. Scrolling through social media for hours is easy. Complaining about your situation is easy. Doing the bare minimum at work just to avoid getting fired is easy. But because these things are easy, the competition becomes extremely crowded. Everyone is on the easy path. And when something is common, the rewards are usually small. When something is difficult, a natural filter appears. Fewer people are willing to begin, and even fewer people are willing to continue long enough to move past the uncomfortable, unfamiliar stage. This scarcity is exactly where value begins to appear. Studying a complex subject deeply is difficult. Learning to communicate clearly and confidently is difficult. Building a business from nothing or mastering a skill like video editing or coding is difficult. But because it is difficult, many people give up early. If you simply refuse to quit, if you stay long enough for the unfamiliar to become familiar, you eventually develop a skill that is valuable and rare. These difficulties, this temporary discomfort, act like a bridge. And on the other side of that bridge is freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, and the freedom that comes from having real options in life. Meanwhile, drifting through familiar routines is so incredibly easy. It is easy to let Tuesday turn into Wednesday and Wednesday turn into Friday without building anything, learning anything, or challenging yourself. Avoiding a difficult conversation is easy. Letting time quietly pass by is one of the easiest things in the world. But life has a way of doing the math. Over 5, 10, or 20 years, those easy days begin to accumulate. They compound. A decade of easy choices often leads to a life with fewer options, less ability, less confidence, and more regret. The easy days slowly add up to a very difficult life. So as you move through your week, try letting go of the labels easy and hard. Stop judging tasks only by the amount of friction they create in the present moment. The real question is not whether something feels comfortable today. The real question is, what kind of future are today's habits quietly building? Because the path that feels steep, awkward, and frustrating at the beginning is often the one that leads upward. And the path that feels smooth, warm, and comfortable at the start can sometimes lead nowhere at all. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Have a great week, and see you in the next video.